Welcome to Jeremiah's Porch Talks. This is where we take a few minutes and talk about leadership and life. Right here from my front porch in Sykesville, Maryland. Rain or shine, this is a time for us to reflect, reset, and get ready for whatever comes next in our respective journeys. I'm Jeremiah. Thanks for joining me. I want to talk today about a mindset, a way of thinking that's changed my life more than almost anything else. And that's called growth mindset. Now, don't tune out just yet. I'm not talking about silly self-help slogans. I'm talking about a way of living, a way of saying yes to the opportunities that stretch you, that scare you, and that shape you. Most of us live in a loop. We build a routine, we find what we're good at, and we stay where it's safe. And we hang out in what we call the comfort zone. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with this. We all need stability. But we both know there's more. There's way more. In order to find whatever that more is, you have to do something courageous. You have to be willing to work through some discomfort in order to learn something new. Have you ever wondered why it is that the moment that something new shows up, an invitation, a challenge, a hard conversation, we often shy away from that new experience and say to ourselves, I'm not ready. What if I fail? What will people think of me? What if I embarrass myself? Or worse yet, what if I embarrass someone that I love? This feeling is what is referred to as the fear zone. And it would surprise you that that fear zone is right outside of your comfort zone. And it's there for good reasons. It helps us survive. It keeps us safe. But what if I were to tell you that the fear isn't always a sign that we're going in the wrong direction? Sometimes it's the first step that you're actually about to grow. This is because once you pass through that initial fear process, you enter into a new place. And that new place is called the learning zone. You pick up new skills, you find out what you're stronger at than maybe you ever thought of. You discover tools that you didn't know you had. And eventually, if you keep going, you arrive into the growth zone. And this is where things get super powerful. Because here's the secret. You can find comfort in being outside your comfort zone and becoming a lifelong learner. You can find joy in saying yes to once things that terrified you. Growth doesn't always mean grinding. It doesn't always mean hustle and exhaustion. Sometimes growth means you're actually aligned with who you're becoming. And this newfound place of learning is rejuvenating. It's life-giving. You start saying yes to things that stretch you because you realize you were built for more than your current limits. And you're no longer afraid of the unknown because you build confidence in the fact that you can survive and thrive beyond your fears. I remember a time when I was asked to speak at an event that was way outside of my comfort zone. I didn't know the topic very well. Others on my team had to give me a crash course. I always wondered why they didn't do the presentation. The audience I was speaking to was a very powerful group of folks, and I remember literally sweating bullets during the presentation. Bullets of sweat came right off my forehead. But I said yes, and I did it anyway. And you know what happened a few years later? I became an expert at that work. I began creating the strategies for it. And that would not have happened if I wasn't willing to bust through my own comfort zone, walk through my fears in order to grow. And in doing so, I grew in confidence. I grew in a sense of purpose, and I grew in self-trust that I could do this in other areas as well. The growth mindset says, I might not know how yet, but I can learn. And I might be nervous right now, but that's just part of the process. I've never done this before, but I've never been this version of me before either. And that's what I want for you. The next time that something new shows up at your door, an opportunity, a new role, a new relationship, a challenge that you've never thought you could do before you say no, ask this. Is this just fear trying to keep me comfortable? Or is this growth trying to call me forward? So many people wait until they're ready. But readiness doesn't come before action. It comes when you start doing. Growth starts the moment you step out in faith and say, I don't have all the answers, but I'm going to show up anyway. And if you keep showing up again and again, you'll find that place that where you once had fears will become your new home. And soon enough, this growth zone becomes a way of life for you. So here's my reminder for today. You don't need to be fearless, just be willing. And you don't need to be perfect, just be present. And you don't need to stay where it's safe when there's something extraordinary waiting just outside your comfort zone. Instead, say yes and start doing. That's it for today. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me on Jeremiah's Porch Talks. Rain or shine, I'll see you next time. And always remember to keep the most important things.